Okay, so there was a new balance patch on the test server, and a bunch of things got buffed actually for once in Pack 4. So I'm gonna just kind of go through a lot of them as the video goes on, because I can't remember all of them, but there'll be like a link to the patch notes in the description. So one of the things that got buffed was the Pi Tamarin. It now deals 3 damage instead of 2, and it also targets the most healthy enemy, so the thing with the highest HP. So that's probably fair because I think Pyoteramin was the worst tier 1. Now maybe there's a point in leveling it up and like keeping it around for a little bit. I mean, 50% more damage plus, I mean, I guess targeting like the healthiest thing is. I actually don't really know if that's good or not. I can't really tell, but 3 damage early on is usually pretty good. And if you level it up, it deals 3 damage twice, so that's like 6 damage, and it only costs 1 trumpet, so maybe it's pretty good to get level 2. One thing that they did nerf was baboons, so now it is not focused buff targets. It gives to multiple things when you level it up. So at level 2, it's 2 things of the same tier. Level 3, it's 3 things of the same tier, which is probably a fair nerf just because baboon was so good, and I think like one of the best scalers in the pack. African penguin did not get changed though, so we might be seeing a lot more of those since that's a pretty nice early scaler. Silk Moth got its stats changed to 3-1. I think I'm going against teams that are using like the old stats. I don't know if that's possible, but there's, let's see, Hercules Beetle I believe got a buff to 3-4, as you can see right there. And Flycatcher got changed, so it no longer gains 1 HP, but it deals 3 damage instead of 2. So that's interesting. And so I feel like Doorhead Ant and African Penguin is actually a great synergy if you can actually buff the Doorhead Ant because it gets so much HP from its ability. It can really even out its stats and make it a really well statted unit for a tier 2. Meerkat got changed quite a bit, so now it is a start of battle ability, and it gives adjacent pets attack based on how much gold over 10 you have. So if you like have level 2 magpie or something and you start with 12 gold, it'll give 2-2 to the 2 things that are adjacent. Kind of interesting, no longer a scaler. I did think Meerkat sucked, so this does seem like a buff, which is pretty nice. Poison Dart Frog also got a buff, just a little bit better stats, which is probably fair. It wasn't like the best thing, but it's also not bad. It's just nice to overall see buffs instead of nerfs because Pack 4 is actually so far behind the other packs. And maybe this will make it a bit more competitive if they care about that. I don't think they're probably thinking too much about that, but I think they're just focusing on like the fact that buffs are more fun generally, and nerfs are usually less fun. So double baboon still gonna be pretty early. I just don't think like level 3 baboon's gonna be worth going for really. Like level 2 is already questionable. You can see, dang, the level 3 Pi Tamarin actually killed so much there. That was so good. Oh, that was beautiful. Flea got a slight buff, so it is now a 3-1. Lizard actually got quite a buff. It's now 1-4, and the spawn that it does, I believe, got a buff as well. Falcon got a pretty big buff. It got actually wait, was it a 3-3 or 4-4 before? Okay, it only got 1-1 buff, I think, but that's still something, which is pretty nice. And yeah, so go ahead and take the Manatee. That will die in 2 turns, so I can put a banana. Sea Lion got a buff, now it's a 3-6. Manta Ray got a buff, I believe, +2 attack. Macaque got a pretty significant change. It is no longer summoning a gorilla, but it summons a 12-12 orangutan. Which, I mean, that's more stats, but obviously a worse ability. So I don't know if that qualifies as a buff or a nerf, it's just different, I guess. Yeah, the Pi Tamarin's definitely falling off, so I should probably sell that at this point. Getting a draw. Was that a weasel in the back? That doesn't seem super wise. Instead, I get level 2 Manatee. So now I actually just want to keep it around for as long as possible. One strat that I've watched Kelby do quite a bit is Crane Manatee. And that just gives you a melon, and it also gives you 5 extra attack. And then to keep it around long term, you go with the pita bread on the Manatee, because it'll hurt itself, and then it'll activate the pita bread, which will be a net gain of 10 HP, which is pretty solid. And you get to keep it around forever. Yeah, so I now realize that it targeting the healthiest enemy is probably not great. It'd probably be better if it was random, because it could have killed something right there, but 3 is not going to kill anything later than, like, turn, I don't know, 7 probably. And, yeah, there's another Manatee. It's nice to just keep finding them. And there's the Crane, so definitely going to take that. Getting, like, 5 attack on a melon is pretty huge. Gonna have a 13, like, 7 or whatever with melon. That's, yeah, that's very good. Blue Ringed Octo did not get changed. And again, I don't think it's worth it to go for level 3 Baboon anymore, so probably shouldn't have taken that. That was maybe just out of habit. And going with this big Falcon. Its ability is sometimes helpful because it summons a copy of whatever it kills. If it kills like a beta fish, beta fish got changed, so it's a 3/3 buff instead of 4/2 now. It could kill like a slug or like a wolf or something. I mean, as you can see, yeah, +3/+3 right there. Pretty helpful. Occasionally comes in handy. Why not? And as you level it up, it spawns like a 6/6 and then a 9/9, I think. And what a shop. Okay, just level 2 crane. Sure, why not? And then okay, I don't bother actually leveling up the Baboon anymore, which is probably wise. You can see it just gives the 1/2 buff to 2 things, which means I guess you have to pivot even harder now to really utilize it. Summon a Fire Ant, I guess that's 3 extra stats. It would have been great if it killed like Nyla there, because that would have given extra 8 trumpets. That would have been really helpful. Also, as you level up the Falcon, I believe it spawns a leveled up thing as well. So like a level 3 Falcon killing a Nyla would spawn a level 3 Nyla, and then you would get a whole bunch of trumpets. Warthog is one of the things that did get a slight nerf. I believe it went from like 12 attack to like 12 attack to 9 attack, as you can see. And yeah, so I guess I just want to prevent it from taking damage. And then I wanted to give the melon to the hawk. German Shepherd also got a buff. I believe its base stats are better, and its ability is now 30% instead of 20%. So pretty significant buff there. I mean, it's already really strong with summons, and just after doing a little bit of experimenting, it is really broken with summons now. I mean, summons in general in Pack 4 seem to be just quite good. Okay, killed a slug there, and then got double melon armor, and killed another thing. Yeah, that hawk is actually doing so much. Like, that can also pop a melon if you're playing against, like, other packs. It's got a lot of potential to be a really good unit. There's the pita bread. Oh, okay. I can also pita bread that thing. It does work. It does gain 15 HP, and then the melon goes off, so that's nice. But I will guess pita bread this guy next turn, because it still has the potato. Sure. And then the Baboon's only giving 1/2. A little bit sad, which means I could pivot off of the Baboon if I'm not really planning on doing too much with this team, just using the Manatee for scaling for the most parts. Looks like an Antelope Grizzly team. Getting that melon is very nice. Summon a Grizzly doesn't really do anything. The double melon. And there's 9 wins, looking really nice. The pita bread, yeah, selling the Baboon now, and I'll take Blue Ringed Octo. Blue Ringed Octo and Bird of Paradise, still going to be the best scaling in the pack, I think. And then level 2 Falcon, or... Oh yeah, selling the Baboon was also nice because I get to buy the pretzels, which are 4/4 now. And then maybe I should just like buy waffles because there's probably not too much to do. I guess I could also look for a level 2 Warthog next turn. That's a pretty big improvement. Yeah, so overall the patch I think is quite good. Much better than the first one. The first patch was mostly just a bunch of nerfs and that didn't seem super interesting. Got eggplanted there, so the crane wasn't able to give the melon. I think it got one shot anyways, so eggplant is just generally like very helpful. Like if you want equipment that will sometimes make a difference, that could be the difference between winning and losing, I do recommend just taking eggplant sometimes. It can be quite helpful in the second spots. Yeah, and I guess Bird of Paradise, sure. It's pretty much the same as Blue Ringed Octo as far as just stats, but I don't know. I guess it's more consistent because you won't always find a waffle. I don't know what's really better there. Secretary Bird did get a buff. It is now 4/4 instead of 3/3, so pretty good tempo option with summons. Might not be the best like long-term thing, but still could be solid. And yeah, you can see so many pig spawns, and then a muskox spawn, and that's going to be a win. Really showing off how good the hawk can be. A lot of fun. Yeah, very nice patch, and I hope that they continue with the buffs in the future. Anyway, thanks for watching. See ya.